If you've ever visited a major port like Charleston, Miami, or New York, New Jersey, you know that shipping containers are the standard method of moving goods around the world. Because the U.S. is no longer a manufacturing nation, we don't have many goods to export, but we're real good at buying foreign goods. So we end up with a lot of empty containers, and it doesn't make economic sense to ship them back empty. There are 700,000 of these containers just abandoned in U.S. ports. Here at Tampa Armature Works, a team of engineers and shipping experts have been converting what are basically really sturdy steel boxes into what they call intermodal steel building units, or ISBUs, for military contracts, and they're used in operations around the world. Given the urgent need for affordable and storm-resistant housing that can be built in a hurry in places hard hit by hurricanes and earthquakes, it makes a lot of sense to find a way to adapt ISBUs for residential use.
Well, TAW has been working on a skeletal frame system, a system that allows us to take an intermodal cargo container down to its barest element components, and it's done through a series of intermediate posts. And from that, we can build just about anything. Here we have what we call the world's largest toolbox, and it has some fold-up awnings, some fold-down awnings, some roll-up doors, and then inside, this particular unit has a cargo handling system that allows the military to go to door 2, container 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and bin number 1, 2, or 3, and find whatever it is they're looking for their particular project. A shipping cargo container is designed and built to move general cargoes around the world, interchanging those cargoes out from one port to another. An ISBU is an intermodal steel building unit where that cargo container has been changed and modified to become a housing system. So to suit the customer's application, this particular unit needs to be shortened up to 38 feet. What's going on here is the use of a plasma torch gives us a very clean cut. Other than little grinding, we're ready to weld once we take this end off. In the conversion of a container into an ISBU, an intermodal steel building unit, what we have here is a 9-foot, 6-inch tall I-beam, which is created by this channel that you see down here, this corrugated web of metal here, going all the way up to this flat bar top rail. That is, in effect, a large I-beam. We lose structural integrity when we cut out this window aperture that you note up here, and so bringing back this channel helps replace that lost structural integrity. These units come with a marine-grade Apatong flooring. It's 1 1/8 inches thick. It's of many laminations, and it's a feature that's with the ISBU containers that we couldn't build into them. It's already there.
So the floor's wood, but basically the container is one big steel box. And isn't it going to be murder living in a steel box in the Florida sun?
One would think, sir, but this particular unit, this house system, will be coated with Supertherm ceramic insulative paint. This coating is gaining great popularity in Europe and the Far East, and it's starting to gain ground here in the U.S.
All right, so we'll see more of that later in terms of applying it to the actual steel.
Yes, sir.
All right, but let's talk about the economics of it, because, you know, you have to, it's an alternative to building with concrete blocks, yes, or with wood. And yet you still have to have a crane involved in it, and you got to pay something for these. I mean, what do these cost?
Well, a raw container used only a few times will run roughly $4,200 to $5,600, depending on the volume. With the value add that we do to the system, the overall of the particular unit you see here as a roughed-in, dried-in framing package will be anywhere from $40 to $45 a square foot.
Wow. So you can spend $45 a square foot on putting the house together. Does that include the skin of the house on the roof?
It includes the exterior skin of the house. It includes the ceramic insulative coatings.
Yeah.
The balance of the home for its fit and finish, the foundation and the trusses will need to be supplied by the general contractor.
I see. Okay. So how many of these are floating around the world?
Well, there's 17 million TEU, or 20-foot equivalent unit containers around the world in use today. Mm-hmm. And in the U.S., our trade imbalances, because we consume far more than we export, we're building up, at one time we had in the neighborhood of 700,000 TEU in the USA, idle and on the books.
700,000 containers?
Containers, yes, sir.
Idle, off the books, just empty, sitting in the ports of America. And you're saying the main reason is because we don't manufacture anything anymore except rubbish. And
yes, sir.
So we don't have anything to export in them. But who paid for them?
Well,
the American consumer?
The American consumer, I am confident, has the cost of the idle equipment built into the cost of the goods they're purchasing.
So it's a salvage business that we're looking at here.
In many ways, yes, sir. Or
okay.
recycling or a green business.
Or a green business. Now, we place them all down, and what will be the next step in terms of building this house envelope?
Well, to place them down, then to permanently weld them to the plates that are embedded in the foundation, and then where we're standing, there will be some joist panel infill going along here.
Infill.
Yes, sir. And then, of course, the subflooring on top of that infill.
Sure.
Now, while that's once that's taken place, the skinning of the exterior, some other fellas can come in and start to drywall. Some roof trusses can go up.
Right.
Whereas in conventional construction, sometimes one job is waiting on another.
Right. It's a very fast system. That's one of the big advantages of it. But also, these are steel, sturdy items. When you think about hurricanes,
yes, sir,
they're going to perform very well, right?
Yes, sir. And they're built for the hostile maritime dynamic environment aboard a ship. And here they're permanently affixed to a stationary foundation. And I think, as important, steel construction is gaining ground in residential construction, but that's light gauge steel construction. And here's a heavy gauge steel construction solution that is approximately the same cost, and we're looking for those early adopters to consider it in their choices.
Terrific.